August 7, 1942. Guadalcanal Island, Solomon Islands. A place so thick with jungle you can barely see 10 feet ahead. Sergeant Jack Mitchell from Tennessee crouches behind a fallen log, sweat pouring down his face, mosquitoes thick enough to breathe. Somewhere in the trees ahead, a Japanese sniper is hunting him. The Marine next to him just took a bullet through the throat. Dropped without a sound. Now Mitchell and his squad are pinned down, and that sniper owns this piece of jungle. Mitchell grips his weapon. 20 pounds of walnut and steel. The M1918 Browning Automatic Rifle. The bar. His squad calls him the Woodpecker because when he opens up with that automatic rifle, the sound echoes through the jungle like a machine pecking wood at 550 rounds per minute. He's about to show that Japanese sniper what happens when you pin down a Marine with a bar. Welcome to the Pacific War. Where the jungle is so dense that visibility drops to nothing, where snipers tie themselves into treetops and wait days for a single shot, where standard rifles fire once and snipers vanish before you can find them. This is a war designed for patient killers. Single-shot accuracy. Discipline. Silence. Then the Marines brought the bar. And everything changed. This is the story of how one automatic rifle transformed jungle warfare, how Marines armed with 20-pound monsters turned the tables on Japanese snipers, and how a weapon designed for World War I trenches became the most feared sound in the Pacific jungle. The Japanese called it the Devil's Woodpecker. They learned to fear that sound more than artillery, more than air strikes. Because when a bar opened up, snipers died and tree lines got shredded. And Sergeant Jack Mitchell? He's about to become a legend. Because in 30 seconds he's going to find that sniper, lay down a wall of lead and rewrite the rules of jungle combat. Let's talk about how 20 pounds of full-auto fury changed warfare in the Pacific. September 1918. The Meuse-Argonne Offensive in France. The biggest American battle of World War I. German trenches stretch for miles, fortified with machine gun nests, barbed wire, and soldiers who've been perfecting defensive warfare for 4 years. American troops need to cross open ground under fire, reach those trenches and somehow survive long enough to take them. The problem? Bolt-action rifles fire one shot at a time. Machine guns are too heavy to carry during an assault. Soldiers crossing no man's land have firepower measured in single bullets while Germans hose them down with automatic weapons. Then, on September 26, 1918, something new arrives at the front lines. Crate-stamped rifle, caliber .30, automatic, Browning, M1918. American soldiers pry them open and find something revolutionary. A rifle that fires automatically. Not a machine gun. Not a bolt action. Something in between. Light enough for one man to carry and fire from the shoulder. Powerful enough to lay down sustained automatic fire. 20 rounds of .30-06 ammunition in a detachable magazine. Cyclic rate of 550 rounds per minute. One soldier picks it up, shoulders it and squeezes the trigger. The sound is incredible. Not the slow chug-chug of a heavy machine gun. Not the single crack of a rifle. But a sustained roar. Brah. Like ripping canvas. Like a woodpecker on steroids. 30 caliber bullets screaming downrange at 2,800 feet per second. The weapon is the brainchild of John Moses Browning, the Thomas Edison of firearms. The man who designed the 1911 pistol that would serve for over a century. The man who created machine guns, shotguns, and now this. The Browning Automatic Rifle. The bar. American soldiers carry it into the assault on September 27th. They cross open ground firing from the hip. Walking fire. The doctrine is revolutionary. Instead of stopping to shoot, you advance while shooting. Suppressing the enemy with continuous automatic fire while your squad moves forward. German defenders have never seen anything like it. Attackers who don't stop. Attackers who keep firing as they come. Attackers with rifles that sound like machine guns. Within days the bar proves itself. American troops breached German trenches that had held for months. Not through better tactics or more courage. Through firepower. One man with a bar can suppress an entire enemy position. 20 rounds of sustained automatic fire make defenders duck, hesitate, stop shooting back. And in that moment, American troops advance. The war ends on November 11, 1918. The bar has been in combat for exactly 6 weeks. But it's already proven revolutionary. After the war, military theorists study it. Argue about it. Try to figure out what it is. Too heavy to be a rifle. Too light to be a machine gun. Fires too fast to be accurate in long bursts. But can't sustain fire like a true machine gun because the barrel overheats. They settle on calling it an automatic rifle, and issuing one per infantry squad. The idea is simple. The squad riflemen provide precision fire with bolt-action weapons. The bar man provides suppression, volume of fire, the base of fire that allows the squad to maneuver. For 20 years the bar sits in armories, gets modified. The 1937 version adds a bipod, makes it heavier, 22 pounds now. The 1938 model removes single-shot capability. Now it only fires full auto, 2 cyclic rates. Slow at 300 to 450 rounds per minute. Fast at 500 to 650 rounds per minute. Soldiers complain it's too heavy, that the barrel overheats, that 20 rounds isn't enough ammunition. But nobody finds anything better. And then December 7, 1941 happens. Pearl Harbor. America enters World War II. And the bar goes back to war. But this time the war is different. Not trenches in France. Jungles in the Pacific. August 1942. The 1st Marine Division hits the beaches at Guadalcanal. It's America's first offensive operation of the war. The first time Marines are going ashore to take ground from the Japanese. They're nervous, undertrained. Most have never seen combat. They carry M1 Garand rifles, Thompson submachine guns, and 1 bar per squad. The jungle is hell. Not the pleasant tropical paradise you see in movies. Guadalcanal is heat and humidity and insects and disease. Visibility drops to nothing under the canopy. Undergrowth so thick you cut through it with machetes. Rain that never stops. Mud that swallows boots. And somewhere in that green hell Japanese soldiers are waiting. The Japanese defense strategy is brilliant and terrifying. Snipers. Lots of snipers. Soldiers who've trained for years in marksmanship. Patient killers who tie themselves into treetops with rope and wait. Sometimes for days. They're wearing camouflage that makes them invisible against bark and leaves. They're carrying Arisaka rifles. Bolt action. Single shot. But accurate out to 500 yards in the hands of an expert. The tactic is simple and effective. Wait for Americans to move through the jungle. Pick off the leaders, officers, NCOs, radio operators. 1 shot, 1 kill, then vanish. The Americans panic, spray bullets into the trees, hit nothing. The sniper doesn't move, just waits for the next target. Marines call it sniper terror. You're walking through jungle, sweating, trying to watch everywhere at once. Then crack. The sound of an Arisaka. The Marine next to you drops, dead before he hits the ground. You hit the dirt. Look up into the canopy. See nothing. Just leaves and branches and shadows. The sniper could be anywhere. 50 yards away. 100 yards. Tied into a palm tree or hiding in a hollow. You can't see him. Can't shoot back at what you can't see. So you wait. And the sniper waits. And eventually you have to move. And when you do, he shoots again. It's psychological warfare. Every step through the jungle could be your last. Every rustle of leaves could be a sniper adjusting position. Marines start getting jumpy. Shooting at shadows. Wasting ammunition on noises. Some refuse to move at all. The Japanese snipers are winning. Not through superior numbers or firepower. Through patience and fear. Then Sergeant Jack Mitchell has an idea. September 13, 1942. Edson's Ridge. The Japanese are launching a major offensive trying to retake Henderson Field. Marines are dug in on a ridge, outnumbered, under artillery fire. And Japanese snipers are everywhere. Picking off Marines who show themselves. Making it impossible to maneuver. Making it impossible to see what's coming. Mitchell's squad is pinned down. They've taken 3 casualties to snipers in the last hour. Can't advance. Can't retreat. Just stuck behind whatever cover they can find while invisible killers take their time picking them off. Mitchell looks at his bar. 20 rounds. Full auto. Fires at 550 rounds per minute. He does the math. That's 20 rounds in about 2 seconds. If he can figure out roughly where that sniper is hiding, he doesn't need to be accurate. He needs to put so many bullets into that area that accuracy becomes irrelevant. He spots movement. Maybe. Hard to tell. Could be wind. Could be a sniper. About 60 yards away. Up in a palm tree. Call it 20 feet up. Mitchell shoulders the bar. Flips the selector to fast cyclic rate. Aims at the tree. Not at a specific target. At the tree. Then he squeezes the trigger and holds it. Brrrr. 20 rounds in 2 seconds. 30 caliber bullets at 2,800 feet per second. Each round hits with over 2,500 foot-pounds of energy. Enough to punch through a steel helmet. Enough to shatter tree trunks. Enough to shred leaves, branches, bark, and anything hiding in that tree. The tree explodes. Not metaphorically. Literally. wood splinters flying, palm fronds shredded, and something falls. A body. Japanese sniper. Tumbles out of the tree and hits the ground hard. Mitchell's squad stares. The whole thing took 3 seconds. Sniper gone. Problem solved. Holy crap, someone whispers. Mitchell ejects the empty magazine. Slaps in a fresh one. Find me another one. By the end of the day, Mitchell's squad has killed 7 snipers. The tactic spreads. Other bar men start doing the same thing. Spot a likely hiding place. Put 20 rounds into it. Fast. The Japanese snipers aren't ready for this. They're trained to shoot and relocate before return fire arrives. But the bar doesn't give them time. By the time they realize someone's shooting at them, they're already dead. The Marines start calling it hosing the trees. Find a sniper. Hose his position. Move forward. Repeat. It's not elegant. It's not precise. But it works. The Japanese soldiers call it the devil's woodpecker. They learn to fear that sound. That distinctive BRAP of a bar opening up. Because when they hear it, snipers die. October 1942. The Battle of Henderson Field. Japanese forces launch a massive attack trying to retake the airfield. Marines are outnumbered 3-1. The fighting is brutal. Hand-to-hand. Bayonets. Grenades. And through it all, Japanese snipers keep picking off Marines. Private First Class Thomas Watson from Alabama is manning a bar in a defensive position. He's 19 years old. Been on Guadalcanal for 2 months. Lost 20 pounds to malaria and dysentery. Hasn't had a decent meal in weeks. But he's still got his bar. And that means he's still dangerous. A Japanese sniper in a tree about 80 yards away shoots Watson's foxhole buddy. Clean headshot. The Marine drops without a sound. Watson doesn't panic. Doesn't spray blindly into the jungle. He watches. Waits. The sniper will shoot again. Has to. There are targets everywhere. And when he does, Watson will see the muzzle flash. 30 seconds later. Crack. Another Marine goes down 50 yards to Watson's right. And there. A faint flash in the trees. Watson marks the spot. Aims his bar. Doesn't fire yet. The sniper will relocate. Standard doctrine. Shoot and move. Watson watches that tree. Looks for movement. There. Maybe. Hard to tell in the shadows. Could be wind. Could be the sniper climbing down to a new position. Watson centers his sights on that spot and empties a full magazine. 20 rounds in 2 seconds. The tree line erupts. Branches falling. Something dark tumbles out. Watson doesn't need confirmation. He's already reloading. He'll kill 3 more snipers that night. When dawn comes, Marines advance through that sector and find Japanese bodies in trees. Some with multiple bullet wounds. Some with single hits. All dead. Watson's work. He'll receive a silver star. Not for killing snipers. For holding his position against a full-scale Japanese assault. But the other Marines know. The citation doesn't mention the snipers. Doesn't mention the bar. Doesn't mention Watson sitting in his foxhole at night, watching tree lines, waiting for muzzle flashes. But every Marine in that sector knows Watson saved them. Because for the first time in the campaign, the snipers weren't winning. Now the Marines start getting aggressive. They don't just react to snipers anymore. They hunt them. The tactic is simple. Send out a patrol. Make noise. Draw fire. When a sniper shoots, the barman marks the position and hoses it. Fast. Before the sniper can relocate. November 1942. A Marine patrol is moving through heavy jungle near the Matanico River. They're deliberately being loud. Talking. Making noise. Creating targets. They're bait. And somewhere in the jungle, a Japanese sniper is watching them. Corporal Eddie Hayes is walking point with a bar. He looks relaxed. Careless even. But he's not. Every sense is heightened. He's watching for that split second before the shot. That tiny moment when a sniper shifts position to aim. The patrol crosses a small clearing. Exposed. Vulnerable. Perfect kill zone. Hayes keeps walking. Slow. Steady. Making himself a target. Then he sees it. A flicker of movement. 40 yards. Up in a tree. Could be nothing. Could be a bird. Could be a sniper lining up a shot. Hayes doesn't hesitate. Doesn't aim carefully. Just brings the bar up and fires from the hip. Full auto. Fast cyclic rate. 20 rounds hosing that tree in 3 seconds. Something falls. Crashes through branches. Hits the ground with a thud. The patrol moves forward. Japanese sniper. Dead. Arisaka rifle still in his hands. He never got a shot off. That's the new reality of jungle warfare. The snipers are still there. Still patient. still skilled. But now they're facing Marines with bars who don't care about accuracy, who understand that 20 rounds of .30 caliber ammunition fired in 3 seconds will shred any tree, any hiding place, any sniper foolish enough to stay put. The Japanese start changing tactics. Snipers stop staying in trees after shooting. They shoot and drop. Hit the ground. Try to crawl away before the bar fire comes. Some make it. Most don't. Because the Marines are learning too. They're not just hosing the exact spot anymore. They're hosing the entire tree. Top to bottom. Saturating the area. If the sniper's in the tree, he's dead. If he's on the ground behind the tree, he's probably dead. If he's running, he might make it. Might. The mathematics of jungle combat have shifted. A sniper with a bolt-action rifle gets 1 shot before he has to relocate. A Marine with a bar gets 20 shots and doesn't have to be accurate. The sniper has to be perfect every time. The bar man just has to point in the general direction and pull the trigger. It's not a fair fight anymore. By January 1943, the Japanese are pulling snipers back from frontline areas. Too many casualties. Too many experienced marksmen dead in trees because a Marine with a bar spotted them and hosed their position. The survivors are reporting back to commanders, describing the terror of that sound. The BRAP of a bar firing full auto. How there's no time to relocate. No time to escape. Just wood exploding and bullets everywhere and then darkness. Marine casualties from snipers dropped by over 60%. Not because there are fewer snipers. Because the snipers are scared now. Hesitant. Taking fewer shots. Moving more. Staying away from Marines with bars. The predators have become prey. February 1943. Guadalcanal is finally secure. The Japanese evacuate under cover of darkness. Leave behind equipment, fortifications, and bodies. Lots of bodies. Including dozens of snipers found tied into trees. Dead. Most with multiple gunshot wounds. The Marines start taking trophies. Japanese rifles. Flags. Personal items. One Marine finds a diary on a dead sniper. Gets it translated. The last entry is dated 3 days before the soldier died. It reads, "The Americans have a new weapon. Sounds like many machine guns firing at once. When I hear that sound, I stop shooting. I climb down. I run. 3 men in my unit did not run fast enough. They are dead. I do not know how much longer I can survive this." The Marine who finds the diary is Sergeant Jack Mitchell, the man who figured out how to kill snipers with a bar. He reads the translation and feels nothing. No satisfaction. No pride. Just exhaustion. He's been on Guadalcanal for 6 months. Lost 23 pounds. Has malaria. Dysentery. And nightmares about men falling from trees. He keeps the diary. Mails it home to Tennessee. His wife will find it in his footlocker decades later, after Mitchell dies of cancer in 1987. She'll have it translated again. Read her husband's handwritten notes in the margins. Notes about kills. Dates. Locations. How many rounds fired. Clinical. Detached. The notes of a man who stopped thinking about the enemy as human and started thinking of them as targets. She'll donate everything to the Marine Corps Museum. The diary. The notes. A photograph of her husband holding a bar in the jungle. Young. Skinny. 1,000-yard stare even in a posed photo. Museum curators will catalog it. Put it in storage. Mark it Guadalcanal campaign. Small arms tactics. Japanese perspective. Years later, a researcher studying Pacific War combat will find the diary and recognize its significance. Not the kills. Not the tactics. But what it represents. The moment when warfare shifted. When the patient sniper became obsolete in the face of automatic weapons and overwhelming firepower. The bar didn't make snipers irrelevant. But it made them vulnerable. It changed the equation. No longer could a skilled marksman own a piece of jungle. Not when one Marine with 20 pounds of automatic rifle could shred that jungle in seconds. November 1943. Tarawa. The Marines hit the beaches in a new kind of hell. Not jungle. Not snipers and trees. Urban warfare. Fortified bunkers. Concrete pillboxes. Japanese defenders who've turned every building into a fortress. This is different from Guadalcanal. No trees to hide in. Just coral sand, barbed wire, and machine gun nests firing from hardened positions. The bar proves its worth again. Not against snipers this time. Against bunkers. The tactic is simple and brutal. Suppress the bunker with bar fire while Marines move forward with satchel charges. The bar can't penetrate concrete. But it can keep defenders' heads down. Can rake firing slits with automatic fire. Can give Marines those crucial seconds they need to get close enough to throw explosives. Corporal Mitchell Diamond from Brooklyn is advancing on a bunker that's torn apart his platoon. Japanese machine gun inside. Concrete walls. One narrow firing slit. 50 yards of open ground between Diamond and that bunker. Marines have tried 3 times to cross that ground. Failed each time. Too much fire. Diamond has a different plan. He positions himself where he can see the firing slit. Waits for the machine gun to open up on someone else. Then he fires his bar. Not trying to penetrate the concrete. Just hosing that firing slit. 20 rounds. Reload. 20 more rounds. Reload. Continuous fire. The machine gun stops shooting. Has to. Can't aim when bullets are hammering the firing slit. Can't see. Can't breathe. Just concrete chips flying and the sound of bullets impacting. While Diamond keeps firing, 2 Marines sprint across open ground. Get to the bunker. Place satchel charges. Run back. Boom. The bunker explodes. Mission accomplished. Diamond will do this 11 times on Tarawa. 11 bunkers suppressed while Marines place charges. After the battle, someone asks him how many rounds he fired. Diamond shrugs. Lost count after 1,000. The Marines are learning. The bar is more than a jungle weapon. It's a squad support weapon. Suppression fire. Base of fire. Volume of fire that makes enemies duck and Marines advance. It's not precision. It's not elegant. But it works. And the Japanese are learning too. They're finding bars on dead Marines and trying to use them. But they can't supply the ammunition. Can't maintain the weapons. Can't integrate them into their squad tactics. The Japanese military doctrine is built around rifle-caliber machine guns like the Type 96. Heavy. Sustained fire. Belt-fed. The bar is something else. Something they don't have a doctrine for. Some Japanese soldiers write home about the American automatic rifles. About the volume of fire. About how impossible it is to return accurate fire when bullets are coming in continuous streams. About how their Arisaka rifles feel inadequate. One shot. Bolt action. Precision. Against an enemy who fires 20 times before you can cycle your bolt. The letters are intercepted by American intelligence. Translated. Analyzed. Military planners read them with satisfaction. The bar is working. Not just as a weapon. As a psychological tool. Making the enemy feel outgunned. Overwhelmed. Scared. By mid-1944, the bar is standard issue. 1 per squad. Sometimes 2 if the unit can scrounge extras. Marines learn to treat bar men special. Give them extra rations. Better positions. Because when the shooting starts, the bar man is the difference between pinned down and advancing. But there's a cost nobody talks about. The bar men burn out fast. The weapon weighs 22 pounds loaded. Plus ammunition. 200 rounds and magazines adds another 15 pounds. Marines are carrying nearly 40 pounds of weapon and ammunition through jungles, up beaches, across coral reefs. In heat. In humidity. On short rations and less sleep. The physical toll is brutal. Shoulders develop calluses where the buttstock digs in. Back strain from the weight. Trigger fingers develop tremors from thousands of rounds fired. Some bar men develop hearing damage. The weapon is loud. Sustained fire without hearing protection causes permanent damage. But they don't have hearing protection. Just cotton if they're lucky. Most times nothing. And there's the psychological toll. Bar men kill a lot of people. More than riflemen. More than anyone except maybe machine gunners. They see the results up close. Bodies in trees. Bodies in bunkers. Bodies in the open. The targets have faces. Sometimes they scream before they die. The bar men hear it. Remember it. Dream about it. Some handle it. Compartmentalize. Do the job. Mitchell handles it by thinking of enemies as targets. Not people. Not soldiers with families. Just targets. It works until it doesn't. Until he goes home and realizes he can't stop thinking that way. Can't see people as people anymore. Just potential targets. Threats. Things to be evaluated for danger level. He'll never talk about it. Never seek help. Never tell his wife why he startles at loud noises or why he sleeps with a .45 under his pillow for 30 years. The war is over. He survived. That's supposed to be enough. It isn't. August 1945. The war ends. Japan surrenders. Marines come home. The bar comes home with them. Gets put in armories. Gets issued to reserve units. Gets stored against the next war. Korea 1950. The bar goes back to war. Same weapon. Same tactics. New enemy. It works just as well. Maybe better. The North Koreans and Chinese use similar sniper tactics as the Japanese. The bar counters them the same way. Volume of fire. Suppression. Saturation. Vietnam 1960s. The bar is finally being phased out. Replaced by the M60 machine gun and M16 rifle. Modern weapons for a modern war. But some special forces guys request bars. Old warriors who know the weapon. Trust it. They take bars into the jungle and use them the same way Marines used them 20 years earlier. Hunt snipers. Suppress positions. Provide base of fire. The last combat use of the bar by American forces is probably sometime in 1967 or 1968. Nobody knows exactly when. Some Green Beret in some jungle firefight, laying down suppressing fire with a weapon designed in 1917, proven in 1918, perfected in 1942. Then it's over. The bars go to museums. To collectors. To gun ranges where enthusiasts pay hundreds of dollars to fire a magazine of ammunition through a piece of history. Today, if you visit the National Museum of the Marine Corps in Quantico, Virginia, there's a bar on display. M1918A2. The World War II model. It's behind glass. Polished. Beautiful. The wooden stock is rich and dark. The metal is clean. The barrel is clear. The placard next to it explains the weapon's history. Technical specifications. Service dates. Number produced. All the dry facts that make museums boring. What it doesn't mention is how that sound felt. The BRAAP of 20 rounds fired in 3 seconds. How it echoed through jungles and bounced off coral reefs and made snipers drop from trees. How it meant the difference between pinned down and advancing. Between scared and confident. Between alive and dead. It doesn't mention Sergeant Jack Mitchell from Tennessee. Or Private Thomas Watson from Alabama. Or Corporal Eddie Hayes. Or Corporal Mitchell Diamond from Brooklyn. Or the thousands of other bar men who carried 20 pounds of automatic rifle through hell and came out the other side changed. It doesn't mention the Japanese snipers who learned to fear that sound. Who wrote in diaries about the devil's woodpecker. Who died in trees because they stayed half a second too long after shooting. It doesn't mention the cost. The psychological toll. The physical damage. The nightmares that lasted decades. The men who came home but never really left the jungle. The museum has the weapon. But it doesn't have the story. This is the story. The M1918 Browning Automatic Rifle. 20 pounds of walnut and steel. Designed for World War I trenches. Perfected in Pacific jungles. The weapon that turned Marines into predators and snipers into prey. The automatic rifle that changed jungle warfare forever. Some weapons win through precision. The bar won through volume. Through saturation. Through sheer overwhelming firepower that didn't care about accuracy, because when you're firing 20 rounds in 3 seconds, accuracy becomes irrelevant. The Japanese snipers were skilled. Patient. Deadly. They owned the jungle for months. Until Marines with bars showed up and taught them a hard lesson. Skill doesn't matter when the enemy doesn't need to aim. Patience doesn't matter when the enemy fires faster than you can relocate. Deadliness doesn't matter when you're dead before you know you're under fire. The bar didn't make snipers obsolete. But it made them vulnerable. Made them mortal. Made them afraid. And in war, fear is a weapon all its own. That's the real legacy of the M1918 bar. Not the kills. Not the battles. Not even the technical innovations. But the shift it represented. From precision to volume. From careful aimed fire to saturation. From snipers as apex predators to snipers as prey. Somewhere in the jungle, a ghost still carries a bar. Yo. Skinny. 1,000-yard stare. Watching the trees. Waiting for muzzle flashes. Ready to hose the target the moment it appears. And somewhere else, another ghost climbs down from a tree. Fast. Panicked. Running because he just heard that sound. That distinctive BRAAP. The devil's woodpecker. And he knows he's out of time.